Hey, Shalom, Makim Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and that's still teaching his truth. And as always, much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes, and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all I say Shalom. All right, I'm Brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying and to the point. And I want to do a lesson real quick, going in on the the big beautiful bill that Donald J. Trump, Nero Trump, just passed today. Which this big beautiful bill was it was in voting. I know Elon Musk and, you had the Dems and some of the Republicans that was, pretty much mad at the fact that this bill was in Congress to be passed. And it pretty much what this bill is going to do is going to cut tax. It's going to cut tax withholdings. But what it's also going to do is it's pretty much going to bring in more surveillance. All right. And we clearly see that this beast system that is written about, all right, in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, Revelation 17, all right, Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right, this beast system that we see being revived, this revival of the Roman Empire through America, all right, that this technocracy is getting more and more set up to the point whereas the MOTB, all right, is right around the corner. All right, they have all the right people in place. They have all the technocrats in place for this technocracy, all right, to be fully set up. Okay, now I'm gonna read a little bit of this, and I have some stuff put up in Chat GPT. All right, and we're gonna get a few scriptures. Like I said, this lesson is not gonna be long at all. But it says Trump celebrates after House passes big beautiful bill. It says we'll sign on 4th of July, which is tomorrow. All right. With B-2s flying over White House. All right, with B-2s flying over White House. All right, so it says President Trump on Thursday celebrated the House passage of his big beautiful bill during remarks to reporters. And then you got like BBB, like if you look at a lowercase b, you could think of 666. Okay. This is the man of sin, as the scripture says that the man of sin will be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and the brightness of his coming. Okay? It says the House of Representatives passed the reconciliation bill 218 to 214 on Thursday after a night of drama with several GOP holdouts. Two Republican lawmakers, Macy and Fitzpatrick, voted no. It says the big beautiful bill included tax cuts, no tax on tips. All right, so they're not going to it's going to be tax cuts, which this is also too, and I'm quoting a lot of scriptures, so you can go back and pull them up for receipts. But this goes into two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon in Revelation the 13th chapter. You see, because in one tongue, Esau will come out as if he's doing things to help you out. He'll come out and tell you that they're taking, they're taking fluoride out the water. They're going to cause, they're going to make chemtrails no longer, chemtrails are no longer going to be available in the air. They're taking all these dyes out the food and things of that nature. But at the same time, you have bills that are being passed and laws that are being passed that's completely set up to completely subjugate you, man. All right, the scripture says, woe unto him that decreeth unrighteous decrees, and them that write grievousness in Isaiah the 10th chapter. Okay? So it says tax cuts, no tax on tips. Okay? It says cuts to SNAP, food stamps, and work requirements. You see, cuts to SNAP, all right, food stamps and work requirements. So what's that going to do? That's going to have a lot of these women, all right, that rely on food stamps and that rely on the government to be put in a more straight situation. And the scripture tells you, all right, the scripture tells you in Isaiah 32, All right. Let's get it. Isaiah 32, verse 9. It says, rise up, ye women that are at ease. It says, hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. It says, many days and years shall ye be troubled. All right, many days and years shall ye be troubled. It says, ye careless women. It says, for the vintage shall fail. And what is the vintage? What is the vintage here? The vintage are these benefits, man. You know, SNAP, which is food stamps, which that's gonna be dramatically reduced. Section 8 housing. Okay, let's get that word vintage. That word vintage is batazayar. It says vintage. All right. Let's go to 32:10 here. It says vintage, literal, like the literal vintage, right? Now, what is vintage? Somebody may ask, well, what is vintage? All right. So let's do a web search and look up what vintage is. Vintage definition. Right? It says the year and place in which wine, especially wine of high quality, was produced. And what's wine made out of? It's made out of grapes. So pretty much the vintage is like the harvest. You know, things that you need, you know, things, pretty much benefits, right? Relating to or denoting to wine. You see the harvesting of grapes for wine making. The grapes of wine produced in a particular season. Okay? To remove so vintage is from venom, right? Venom, which is wine, to remove it. And how do you remove the wine is pretty much by removing the grapes. Okay? Because you get the root word batazar, which is to gather. You see? The gathering is going to fail. It's to gather, restrain, fence, fortify. You see that? Make inaccessible. And you see Esau is getting ready to put the crack down. Esau is getting ready to put the crack down, and it's really Yahweh Basham Shah that's putting the crack down, all right, on this place. Okay? The mirth is ceasing, all right, which is beautiful. Okay, because now we're at the time where all the game playing is over. All the festivities and all the jollity, all right, is all done. It says to cut off. You see that? Fortified, cut off. Made inaccessible, secrets, mysteries, inaccessible things. You see? So that's about to get cut off. So it says, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. See that? The gathering is not going to come, man. You see, and the squeeze is just going to get the squeeze is just going to get even tighter. But that's all part of Esau's plan. You know, it's all a part of Esau's plan to squeeze people. All right, into this new world order, man, to squeeze them into this system. That's what they want. That's what they want. Problem, reaction, solution. Okay. Let's just read verse 11. It says, "Tremble, ye women that are at ease." It says, "Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you, and make you bare." And gird sackcloth upon your loins. You see, because you're going to be in a position of mourning, man. You're not going to be in this position, this high and lofty position that you're in right now, man. You see? But it's not, it's going to mainly affect women. It's going to affect everybody. Don't get me wrong. Men's going to be affected by it too, but it's mainly going to affect women, man. It says, strip you, make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. It says, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. You see, because the gathering is not going to come. The benefits and all the aid that these women get is all going to be gone. And that's what this bill does. You see? So it says cuts to SNAP food stamps and work requirements. It says border spending. You see? ICE and Border Patrol will be flooded. ICE, right? Because ICE has been on a rampage, right? ICE has been on a rampage gathering people up, deporting people. Deporting Northern and Southern Kingdom. So this big beautiful bill is going to put more money, right? Border spending. ICE and Border Patrol will be flooded with billions of dollars, right? More than $45 billion will be allocated to the border wall. You see that? So they putting all this money into Esau, gathering and deporting. And what do you think they're going to do with that? They're going to have more surveillance. They're going to have more surveillance with the cameras. Okay. Yeah, Palantir, who's pretty much military funded. You got RFK talking about every American wearing a wearable. It's all about surveillance, because ultimately the next thing that they want, this AI infrastructure set up. So now the next thing to push is the mark of the beast, the MOTB. All right, it says Trump stopped to chat with reporters before he departed to Iowa. For Iowa, it says we're sort of celebrating. It says the biggest bill of its kind ever signed, and it's going to make this country. It's going to make this country into a rocket ship, right? It's going to be really great. Trump said. You see, and these are all the smooth words, man. But here it is, your president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is turning America into a prison state, man. You see? Let's take a listen.
So we have a very big trip planned to Iowa. Some of you are going with us, and perhaps a lot of you are going with us. How are you? And we have a very big crowd, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're sort of celebrating like the biggest bill of its kind ever signed. And it's going to make this country into a rocket ship. It's going to be really great.
See that? So, they're telling you peace and safety, that everything, this is going to make the country better. It's going to make the country more safe, and then again, at the same time, you got everybody, you got hella, Esau divided, the house divided against itself. You see? And Esau's all over the place, man, because he know that he's losing the narrative, man. So now the only thing left for Esau to do is to come down with great wrath, because he knows he has but a short time. That's the only thing left for him to do. That's the only thing he can do at this point. You see? All right, cool. I had to park my car. So it says President Trump will sign the bill on Friday at the White House. He says we're signing at about 5 p.m. And at about 5 p.m., we're going to have B-2s and F-22s and F-35s flying right over the White House. Now, keep this all in mind. It says, so we'll be signing with those beautiful planes flying right over our heads, Trump told reporters on the tarmac. So he's going to be doing this, and there's going to be, planes and stuff flying over the White House. Look, the golden age is about to be lit. The golden age, but the scriptures tell you that the golden city is going to cease. The golden city, matter of fact, let's get that. The golden city has ceased. Letting you know that this is the king of Babylon, man. Okay, this is Isaiah 14:4. It says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. See, that golden city is America, man. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah is about to cause this place to completely cease. Let's get that word ceased. Shabbath, to seize, desist, rest. And it ain't gonna be no good rest. It's gonna be rest. It's gonna be rest. It's gonna be given unto Israel. Beginning with the elect ultimately. But that word cease, it says cease, which means to stop. So as they think they're in this golden age and how America's gonna bounce back and this whole MAGA BS. Here it is, Donald J. Trump has the people online and the bill set in line to completely lock your ass up and to completely remove you. If you could be an American citizen, and he said that you can be removed and taken to these concentration camps that are being set up. You see?
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait.
Nah, I thought it was something else, but let's go here. So what I did was in ChatGPT. Now I said B-52 by mistake. So let me do this. I say, what about B-2s? I'll say, what about B-2s and F-35s? Let's do this. Because I said B-52 by mistake. I'll say, what about, just give me a second. What about, so the question that I asked was, I said B-52 by mistake. I said, when the president uses B-52 bombers to fly over a bill being passed, does that declare a sign of war? And it says no. But there's something interesting still in here, right? It says the presence of B-2 bombers, F-22 Raptors, or F-35 Lightning IIs in a flyover, whether during a bill signing, presidential speech, or public event, still does not constitute a declaration of war, right? Now, I used the wrong word, but check it out. It says, however, each aircraft does carry symbolic weight, and their use in domestic flyovers can signal specific messages depending on context, right? So the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, the role, strategic stealth bomber capable of carrying nuclear and conventional weapons. Symbolism, used to signal covert capability, right? Covert capability. Now, what does the word covert mean? All right. What does the word covert mean? Let's get the definition of covert, right? Remember, Esau uses symbolism in everything that he does, right? Covert, hidden, private, secret, concealed. You see that? Covered, hidden, obscure, underhanded. You see? Covert means something that's hidden. So he's using B-2 bombers, which represent covert capability, nuclear readiness, and overwhelming force. Now, this bill being passed, why does a B-2 bomber got to fly over the White House? Because what? Overwhelming force is getting ready to be made on you Americans, man. The devil shall come down with great wrath because he knows that he hath but a short time. Okay? And you Jakes, man, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Hey, Yahweh Basham al-Shah about to use Esau to shove a holy foot up your ass, man. Because really it's going to be anger from the Lord. Right? Ezekiel 21:9, it says, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh, say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. You see that? And that sword, who is the sword of the Lord? Psalm 17:13. The wicked, Esau is the sword of the Lord. It is furbished that it may glitter. Shall we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. You see, and what does July 4th represent? Independence Day. Independence and, American flags and independence, all these people drunk off the Babylon juice, right? It represents America's independence. Fireworks going off, but here it is. He's showing you that he getting ready to take your ass out, right? It says flyover message suggests high-level strategic seriousness or nuclear posture readiness. Could signal deterrence or global reach, right? F-22 Raptors, stealth air superiority fighter, right? Symbolism, dominance in the air, technological superiority, and military readiness, right? So you got two vehicles that represent military readiness, covert capability, overwhelming force, technological superiority. Because we already know this AI system, this beast system is going to be a technological. It's going to be technological warfare, award on the everyday citizens of America. Remember, you still got the Patriot Act that got signed after 9/11. Donald Trump, whenever he was in office his first time, he passed Operation Warp Speed. That's what he's all about. And that was a clear-cut sign, the kind of spirit that he's in, right? Flyover message. It says, indicates that the U.S. is asserting control of the skies and deterring near-peer adversaries, right? And then F-35 Lightning II. It says, multi-role stealth fighter used by Air Force, Navy, and Marines. Symbolism, flexibility, modern warfare, international cooperation used by allies, and precision capability, right? Flyover message signals that the U.S. is prepared for next generation warfare. And what is some of that next generation warfare they're going to use? They're going to be using robots, drones, AI technology to pinpoint where you at, AI to frame, pretty much AI to frame you. If pretty much AI to frame you, all right, to see who's worshiping the beast, and it can frame you. Deep fakes and all that kind of stuff, man. Including cyber interrogated operations, right? You see, It says, no, military flyovers, even with advanced aircraft like these, are not declarations of war, but they can mean what? Psychological operations, psyops. And we've been saying that there's going to be major, there's going to be a major FFLA, a FFLAG, right? That's going to take place. It's going to cause Esau to really put the clamps down, man. Meant to intimidate or sway public or foreign perception, right? Public messaging, reinforcing the power behind a bill or action. Example given, defense or surveillance related legislation, right? Defense or surveillance related legislation. Preparation posture, showing readiness, which may be a precursor to potential action, but not an act itself. Potential action. What's that action going to be? The devil coming down with great wrath because he knows that he has but a short time, man. That's that potential action. Purpose meaning, domestic signal rally support, create drama, suggest strength of the executive foreign signal, show of force to adversaries, Russia, China, Iran, legislative reinforcement, back up controversial or defense related legislation, surveillance or security law tie-in, connect tech warfare with homeland policies, man. So this flyover that he's going to do whenever he signs the bill is not just for not just for shits and giggles, man. It ain't just, oh, well, wow, look guys, look, it's a B-50, it's a B-2 bomber. No, man. This is letting you know he getting ready to wage war. This is what that means. You see? So this big, beautiful bill refers to a legislation that expands national surveillance. Here's what it will likely mean for the average American. Increased government monitoring of your digital activity. Internet and phone activity could be monitored more closely. All this information that we typing in ChatGPT, do you think that Esau knows exactly what we typing in? And it's really exposing them. As the scripture says in Psalm 64, that their tongue shall fall upon themselves, man. It's really exposing him. But all the search engines that we do and all the things that we're typing in is being recorded. And we know that. We understand and we know that. You see? But they've been at our IP addresses. They got everything on us, man. You see, that's why we're gonna need, man, protection from on high. That's why the scripture says in Luke 18:8, it says what it said. Matter of fact, let me get it real quick. Shall he find faith on the earth, man? It's gonna be a time that we've never witnessed, man. Daniel 12:1. I tell you that he will avenge them speedily, right? Talking about the elect. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? You see, it's gonna be such a dire situation that faith is not gonna be a common thing. Most people don't have faith now. 95 to 97% of the people don't have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. They have faith in the system, but faith is going to be so far gone that it's like, man, look, shall he find faith on the earth? Is he going to find those truly faithful in him? It's pretty much what he's saying. How many will he find on the earth who have faith, which is a gift, by the way, right? Expand access to search histories, emails, messages, and social media by intelligence agencies, example given FBI, NSA, without traditional warrants. So all the conversations that we have, it's already being monitored, but it's going to be tracked and monitored even more. What powers WhatsApp? Not powers, but who really monitors WhatsApp? Meta, Facebook. And you had executives from Meta get sworn into the military as lieutenant colonels, man. You clearly see the tie-in. So how the fuck could the mark of the beast be a philosophy? What philosophy is it? They never tell you what the philosophy is. Oh, the mark of the beast is a philosophy. Well, what philosophy? What philosophy is it? Explain it. What is the philosophy? White Jesus. Get the fuck out of here, man. You low-level ass nigga. You see, but the Lord, very soon it's about to be shown who the Lord is dealing with. It's about to be shown, man. Your metadata, who you contact, when, from where, right? Who you calling, where you calling them from, when you called them, right, may be stored or shared with government entities. This is what this big, beautiful bill is on. This is what's in this big, beautiful bill, by the way. Right? More physical surveillance in public spaces. It says increased use of facial recognition technology at airports, public events, schools, and transportation hubs. Remember, because China's the model. They modeling this surveillance system based upon already what China's already doing. Social credit scores. You ain't gonna be able to access and move around in society the way you want to. That shit's about to be gone, man. CCTV expansion and integration into centralized databases for real-time monitoring. And Palantir is gonna power all that. You see when Joe Biden and then they would let all the migrants coming in. All that was on purpose. You see, all that was on purpose. And they're like, oh yeah, Donald Trump, he's coming to stop all that. Which, yeah, there's really people here that need to be deported, but at the end of the day, that was all systematically set up. And you dumbass Americans over here thinking that Donald Trump is going to just change all that and make everything better. No, that was all, they was in cahoots together, man. That's why, where the hell Joe Biden go from here? Where he at, though? He all of a sudden got an acting deal. Come on, man. Enhanced AI surveillance tools, use of artificial intelligence to analyze behavior patterns. You see, predict threats. So you could be a threat. You could be predicted a threat, even though you may not even do anything. But AI could predict you as a threat, and then what could happen? They'll detain your ass and grab your ass up and take your ass to one of them concentration camps. And create profiles based on your online behavior. And what could this mean? This could mean what? Those of us that are preaching this word, it's about to be a wrap. The famine of the word is about to take place very, very soon. Potential misidentification or flagging of individuals based on biases within AI models. You see, biases though, right? And then it's going to talk about data sharing and, ordinary American, greater risk of false positives and civil liberties violations. Ordinary Americans may be flagged or investigated due to algorithm errors. You see, because remember, this is artificial intelligence. This is pseudoscience. This is part of Esau's lying wonders, as it says in 2 Thessalonians 2. Algorithm errors, because it ain't perfect. Esau wants it to be perfect, but it's not. Mistaken identity or associations. And that's been going on with this whole ICE situation, right? Expansion of watch lists and surveillance without due process. You ain't gonna have no due process. You see, they'll be able to lock your ass up and throw your ass in a prison without. Oh, I know my rights. What's up with the Constitution? I know my rights. Man, fuck your rights. Esau coming in, kick your door down, boom. Grab your ass, throw your ass in the back of a car, you screaming, I know my rights. The nigga woman, I know my rights. Shut your ass up, bow. Butter the gun to the face. That's what's coming. What it means for you personally. Your privacy could be compromised, even if you've done nothing wrong. See that? You might find yourself targeted for surveillance based on your race, religion, political views, or online activity. Based upon who you are. Remember, Psalm 83, they are confederate against us to take us out. Religion. You see, those of us that are out there teaching, they don't want this message going out there. It's against their whole setup. Political views or online activity. Freedom of speech and association could be chilled if people fear being watched. You see that? He make a man an offender for a word, as it says in Isaiah 29 and 20. You see? So yeah, they're gonna pass this big, beautiful bill. It's the biggest bill ever. It's the biggest bill we ever seen. It's gonna be great. America's gonna fly off like a rocket ship. It's gonna be great. Right? Everybody hearing that. But here it is. He's speaking as a dragon now, man. It's evident. All right. So I just wanted to touch up on this. I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, great millstone that taught us his truth and also teaching his truth. Much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Until next time, I say shalom.